Okay, you're good to go, Wade.
All right, thanks.
Enjoy your class. Bye-bye.
See you. Good afternoon. Hey, baby. You need to come up here. You need to go outside. You need to go outside. Come here. There you go. Go. Hi, Linda. You there? Can you hear me, Linda? Oh, there you are. Hi, Miriam. You there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hey, welcome. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Good to hear.
People are coming in a little slow today. We got some other people scheduled, so we should have some more people coming in.
Oh, that's good.
Linda, can you hear me? Okay. So Linda's here, but I can't reach her. Let me try to reach her in the chat. Oh, she dropped off. We may have a short crowd today, Miriam. That's okay. It's just the two of us. We'll do
Fine
it
with me.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Looks like Linda's back in. Now, can you hear me, Linda?
Yes,
Okay, great. Like you're having some trouble. You'd have to change devices.
I did. I changed devices. So
Okay, great. All right. So you both taken other classes? I know, Miriam, you have.
I have as well.
Yes, I have. There we go.
Okay. Okay, Linda, you have two. All right, there you go. Got your video going. It's like you're both on smartphone.
Yeah.
Okay, that works fine for this class because there's no hands-on keyboard from your side, so should be no problem.
Okay.
All right, so we usually wait for the first 4 to 5 minutes to give other people a chance to come in. Look like we're going to have a small class. There's some other people signed up, but we're not going to wait much longer since it's a lot that we need to cover. Brandon is here to help with any tech problems, but it looks like we got all of our tech problems in place, but he's also going to be manning the chat in case there's any issues in there that I don't see. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and get started with some of the housekeeping issues and may have another person or two join us before we get into the actual agenda, but let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And just want to move your pictures over here so that I can see everybody without taking up space on my screen. Right. And since it's a small group, I'm going to leave the mics open. But if there's background noise comes in, things happen, we're all at home, I will go ahead and mute. So before you ask a question or make a comment, do make sure that your mic is unmuted so that I can hear you.
Okay.
And so let me go ahead and open up the chat in case anyone of you has any problems with your microphone. You can also reach us in the chat as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is Building Your First Website. So I do want to welcome you to this class. My name is Wade Yarbrough, and I'll be the guide for the class today. Briefly about me, I'm from a small town in Tennessee called Mason, Tennessee, just outside of Memphis. I have a PhD in psychology. That was experimental psychology, working primarily with animals, but I've also had a background in IT and spent most of my time installing and training users on healthcare information systems. And what I love about teaching at Get Set Up is the fact that the people in class want to be in class. You've signed up for the class as opposed to being told by your employer that you have to go to the class. And that's really what we try to do at Get Set Up, is to create an environment where people can take classes, learn things they want to learn, and interact with other learners, as well as interact directly with the guide. And so hopefully you will have lots of questions today. This is a class that really does allow for a lot of interaction. The recording, the session is being recorded, and any participant can request a copy of that recording by sending an email to help@getsetup.io. I'll put that email address up again at the end of class if you don't have that already in your email contacts. We do have people as well joining us by live stream today, so I want to welcome many people on the live stream to the class. Thank you for joining and participating with us. But I also want to remind you that in order to get the full Get Set Up experience, the best way to do it is to register for the class, so then you can interact directly with the guide as well as with the other learners taking the course. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any products that we train or mention in our classes. We are purely trainers. Okay, so in terms of agenda, by the end of the class, you should understand the benefits of having a website, know the steps for planning and building a website, and know what the most popular website builder software packages are. And toward the end of the class, I'll do a demo of one of those website builder packages so you can kind of see how things work. So we're going to go from really fairly high level conceptual all the way down to a demo. And I think the demo makes everything kind of come together if it hasn't already by then. So we're going to start with, why does an organization need or want a website? And I'm going to use the term organization and business kind of synonymously today. But when I use the term, it includes both for-profit businesses and not-for-profit organizations. They're very similar in how these things work. I'll draw some differences among the two. But in this case, the fact that a website legitimizes the organization's operation is probably the biggest reason for a website. If somebody hears about you, one of the first things they're going to do is go and Google the name of the organization and see if they find it. And if they find a website, it tends to provide an air of legitimacy that it doesn't happen if they don't see it. It's a way to display your products if you have products you're selling, or to outline your services if it's a for-profit services organization or a not-for-profit organization. You can sell and promote your organization from home, which is very nice, especially in these COVID times. It's a good way to tie your other social media together. So if you have a business Facebook page, a Instagram business account, a Twitter account, you can link those to your website and drive traffic back and forth between the website and your social media sites, which is very beneficial. We'll talk about how that works as well. And of course, you can reach thousands of potential customers with a website, much more than you can advertising in the local newspaper or handing out flyers, which is the way we used to do things. So I'm going to show you some websites to get started. The purpose of this is to explain and talk about some of the parts of websites, how they work, and hopefully you'll get ideas from this in terms of things you might want to include in your website. So these are all websites that are local companies in the town where I live, which is Southport, North Carolina, which is a small town. And I intentionally picked small business sites so that you would know that there are things that you can do the same thing. These are all websites created and maintained by the owners. There's no IT people doing these. And we're going to talk about several types of website, talk about the common aspects as well as the unique aspects. First one we'll talk about is an e-commerce website. And an e-commerce website is a website where people can buy products directly from your website. So if your website has a shopping cart and a way to provide a credit card, then it's a e-commerce website.
Okay.
And so the first one we're going to look at is called Tail Feathers. I'm going to go to their website. And this is a very simple website, but it meets the needs and it serves the purpose. I'll point out a number of things. First, up at the top, they've got their email and phone number. You always want to have contact information available on your website, so someone looking at your website can get question answered and get additional information. I mentioned that you can link to your social media. So here's a link to their Facebook page. If I click this, it'll take me to their Facebook page. And then from their Facebook page, there's a link back to their website. So that, that kind of links things together. Let me go back to, so on the home page, and they only have 2 pages in the website, home page and a shop page. So you start with the home page. So it has just a little bit of information, what they do. They sell unique hand-painted furniture and accessories. They do have a physical store as well. So this is a good idea if you do have a physical presence, whether it's for profit or not for profit, put a picture of it on your website. So if someone's driving down the road looking for you, they know what you look like, as well as providing your street address and your hours of business.
Mhm.
They have, again, the street address here, their email again, and a contact widget within the website. So this way someone can actually put their information in, type their message and hit submit instead of having to go to their email and contact you that way. A lot of people prefer to do it on the website. So it's good to have both options, an email as well as a way to contact directly from the website. And then finally at the bottom, they've got the phone number again. So one comment I would have about this website is they got contact information kind of scattered everywhere. They've provided it, but it's there's some better ways to do it that I'll show you on some of the other websites. Let's go to their shop page. And this looks and works a lot like Amazon or any other site where you've gone and purchased things through a website. They have their products, a little bit about it, what the price is. So they do have a physical store, but they sell items from their website as well.
Mm.
So if I wanted to purchase some earrings for my wife, I could just click here. And much like Amazon, it'll take you to the item page, a bigger picture. They could have more than one picture. In this case, there's only one, but it's a larger picture. You can see it more. Typically, you would have some kind of a description here as well. There's not much of a description, but if I want to purchase this, I can add it to the cart. And again, like Amazon, it's in the cart. I can adjust the number of the items that I want. Gives me a subtotal. I can go and shop for additional things, or I can view my cart and go ahead and pay for it. So I can, they actually provide a way to pay for it and pick it up online or have it shipped with paying by PayPal. So a nice little website. It's not a very sophisticated website, but again, for a small business, it is not a bad website either. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. If you do have questions, please just go ahead and unmute and ask your question. So that's a very simple e-commerce website. The other websites are all service websites. So there's 2 main divisions, e-commerce and service. There's several different variations of service websites we'll talk about. What they have in common is they all include things like pricing and booking and testimonials, and they provide services. So it's not something you purchase. It's not an item that you buy and take home. It's something they're going to provide for you. Mm-hmm. And it includes nonprofits as well as for-profit organizations. So I've got one of each. There's a Greener Way. This is a, oops, wow. They must have gone out of business. That's interesting. Let me try that again. All right, so that website is no longer out there. That's what happens if either the website, they may be having some technical difficulties and their website is down. So we'll go on to the for-profit because we got some other service website pages coming up. So I do want to show you one for-profit because there's some things that are common to not-for-profit that are different from for-profit. So this is Food Bank of North Carolina. This isn't a small local organization. It's a statewide organization. So it's a little larger organization, bigger website, but I did want to show you something about not-for-profits. And one of the differences is with them, you typically want to have a way to get donations from the people that come to your website. And here, since it's a food bank, you can get money donations, or if someone wants to give food, they tell you how you can give food directly to the food bank. Also, most not-for-profits are looking for volunteers. So they have a get involved with a way to volunteer if you want to volunteer there. So you want to make it easy for people to find you and volunteer their time to help your not-for-profit. And you can see donating is a big part of what they're doing. They've got a donate now button over here and a donate up here as well. A couple other pages I'll mention is they've got an About Us page.
Mhm.
That's one thing that I think every website should have. And in this case, they tell you a little bit about themselves, their plans. So no matter what type of organization, people want to know a little bit about you before they want to buy things from you. And then they don't have a separate page for Contact Us, which I like having a separate page, but they've got all the contact information here nice succinctly in one area. So unlike the first website we looked at, where it was sort of scattered all over the homepage, they've got everything in one place. So another type of service website is called a portfolio website. And portfolio websites are devoted to showing examples of past work. One of the problems with services is people can't see what they're buying. They're buying a service. So the best thing you can do is show them examples of the work that you've done in the past. So photographers, landscapers are all organizations that typically have a portfolio page in their website. So this is another local business. And this is a local photographer. It's a husband and wife business. This website looks a little more sophisticated than the first one we saw, Tail Feathers. They're photographers, so they're a little more artistic, but you can tell they got different fonts, different size fonts, better use of pictures. The pages here, they've got more pages. And again, I like the layout of their pages. They've got the About Us page, which I like to see, which tells you a little bit about the people you're going to be doing business with, where they come from, what their interests are. They actually have a different section for him and for her. So you can find out about the people you're going to be working with. They also have a separate Contact Us page. I like a Contact Us page where that contact information, again, is in one place where you can get to it. But the main thing on this site is the portfolio. And so a portfolio is showing you the types of pictures they take. So they can't show you what your pictures are going to look like until after they take them, obviously, but they can show you work they've done for other people. And so they've got a number of different samples of their work. You can get a feel for what they do. And each one of these is actually a different family group. So if you want to see more pictures from that job that they did, you can click there and it'll show you additional pictures to see if you like the work that they're doing. So that's a portfolio page where it's really the main thing they're adding here is the samples of the work that they've done. Any questions so far?
I did. This is Miriam.
Yeah.
I have a
Go ahead,
question.
Miriam.
I noticed, and not just with these, but a lot of websites, they no longer use home. Everything starts off with about. It used to be a home page. You actually could click on the word home. But I noticed even with these two and others, they no longer have a section for home. Is that
Yeah,
something?
they kind of hide it like this is the home page. So if I click this, it's going to take me back to the landing page where we came in. So you always land on the home page. But they, in the past, you're right, there would be a home button here.
Yes.
Now the home button, lots of time, it's just their organization's name. They kind of hide it. But if you're on another page and you want to get back to the home page, that's usually where it is. It's the name up here.
Okay.
So you've always got a home page because that's the landing page, but they've stopped listing it in the list of pages.
Right.
Yeah, that's very observant.
Okay, got you.
But it's still there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So let's look at one more. And this is a professional services website. So again, this is another variation of a service website. And professional services, typically require holding a professional degree, license, or some specific set of skills. So examples of professional services that might have a website are architects, accountants, engineers, lawyers, therapists, fall into that professional services category.
Mhm.
And again, this is another professional website from a local business. This is a lady that's a therapist, and she does live here in Southport, does her own website. This is the most sophisticated one we've seen, but it's something that you can do with the type of software I'm going to show you later. So this is something that's not at all beyond most business people. And again, she does this website herself. She does have a home button in hers. She has a blog, which we haven't talked about yet, but blogs are where you can provide like little short magazine articles. And services do this a lot because they want to educate people about the types, in her case, the types of therapy that she does. So that's a way to provide education to your potential clients. These talk about the services she provides. So these are actually the services, or she'll talk about adult therapy, how that works. Relationship therapy. So these are all the types of therapy she does. She breaks them into 3 categories. This again is something that's nice for professional services and for some other services, other websites, as well as frequently asked questions. But again, for therapists, dentists, those types of organizations, there are lots of questions. You know, what I need to do to get started, what should I expect at my first session? Can I pay with a credit card? Are all typical questions that people ask. So it's nice to have a frequently asked questions site. Here's that about page that I like to see. And she also, where she talks about her type of therapy first, but then she talks about herself, you know, how long she's been in the business, why she came into the business. So you kind of feel a little bit of connection with her. It's got her picture. She has a way to call for an appointment from her website or schedule an appointment online. Those are nice for services websites. And then finally, she's got her contact information in a separate tab, like I like it. She's got her links to social media, Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. And she has testimonials, which again, are good for services because you can't see the service you're going to get. So this is sort of equivalent to the page we saw with the photographers. But if a therapist, you can't show the work you've done, but you can get referrals from people that have used you. So that's what a testimonial page. So she's got different people that have used her services and were willing to do a testimonial. So nice website, you know, much more professional looking, but something that could be done with the type of software we're going to be looking at. So any questions so far? Let's keep going. So we kind of talked about what different websites look like, what are common pages, what are pages that are different based on the type of website. So let's dig into how you would build one. So the steps in building a website. First step is you have to have a domain name. You know, that is what someone types in to get to your website. So snapshotphotography.com. This is the URL for that organization. So you have to have a domain name. That's their domain name. There's 2 types of domain name. You can have a custom domain name. And I used to have a business called Eagle Springs Farm, and my domain name was eaglespringsfarm.net. These cost money. You basically subscribe to them and pay on an annual basis. There are ways to get a free subdomain name. Some of these website builders I'm going to show you will let you get a free domain from them. The ones we're going to talk about, the one I'm going to demo, in fact, is called squarespace.com. So if you want to have a subdomain with them, they would put your name in front of their name. So my business might have been eaglespringsfarm.squarespace.com. Not quite as nice looking on your business cards as just eaglespringsfarm.net, but it's free. So it's a way to get started at no cost. And then you can always switch over to a custom domain name later once your business gets up and going, if you've got more money and want to make it look a little more professional. You also have to have a web hosting provider. This is the organization that provides the hardware that your website lives on. So as you're building your website, entering your information, entering your pictures, it's stored on their computer sites. When somebody types in your domain name, they serve up your website to them. So this is really the hardware and software that runs your operation. And then a website builder platform. So this is the tool that you use to build your website. And you can get these separately, but what a lot of the website builders do, they're called all-in-one website builders. And that's the ones that I'm going to be showing you today, because I think that's the best way to go if you're new to the process. They actually provide the website builder, the hosting services, and a way to register your domain name. So it's kind of an all-in-one shopping. Instead of having to deal with 3 organizations, you can deal with just one, which is a great way to do it. So that's what I would recommend for anyone getting started. Then the next step is to pick a template. And if you've used Word or Excel or PowerPoint, you're familiar with the concept of a template. A template is a pre-formatted design that you just put your information into. So that's the next step. And then you just start entering your content. So that's the basic process. Questions about that high-level process? We're going to drill down into the steps a little bit more, but
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Good.
Let's keep going. So there's several considerations when you're deciding. So we kind of said that this is the main thing we're going to be acquiring, our website builder platform, and we're going to let them provide these other services for us. So we really are only making one decision here: which website builder platform do I want to go with? But there are some considerations that will help you make that decision. Probably the biggest one is ease of building versus customization ability, because these are opposite ends of a continuum. If it's really easy to build, then you don't have as many options. If you've got lots of options, so you can customize it to look just the way you want it, it's not going to be as easy. So you can kind of think of that as a continuum, and you want to figure out where you want to fall in that. If you've got in your mind a vision of exactly what you want your website to look like, you're going to be over on this end of the continuum. If you don't really care, you just want to get something that you can put up that looks nice, but is easy to maintain, you're over here. And then there's some spots in the middle. And of course, pricing is always a consideration. And there's one concept that's unique to this type of business, and it's called ad supported. And an ad supported option is they will give you the website builder product at no charge in exchange for them being able to put ads on your website.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then there are also tiers, and this works kind of like your cell phone provider, where you've got different tiers of your cell phone service. They work the same way, and I'm going to show you an example. This is one called Squarespace, and this is their pricing page. So you can see they've got 4 different tiers: a personal, a simple business, a business commerce, an advanced commerce. Prices range from $12 a month to $40 a month. There's a discount if you pay annually instead of monthly. But what I like about this website is they kind of show you what you get at each level and what you have to bump up a level if you want. So if I want complete customization with CSS and JavaScript, I've got to bump up a level. And if I want to get to some of these options down here, I've got to bump up to the next level, etc. Good news is that you can typically start with the cheapest one. And as you start building your website and you find something you would really like to have, but it doesn't go on your site, when you try and do it, it says, sorry, this is only available with our business package. You can just online say, okay, upgrade me to the business package. They'll charge your credit card an extra $6 and you keep going. You don't have to call support and wait online for 2 hours to get a support person to upgrade you. So it's pretty easy to upgrade. And so you can make that decision. Maybe you'd like to have a professional email from Google, But if that's not worth $6 a month to you, you can say, okay, I can live without it. But that's the idea of tiers. So these are the different website builder packages out there. There's a sample of them. And this comes from a website where they actually go over all these different website builders, pros and cons, comparisons of them. In the email that comes out after class, I'm going to be sending you a link to this to this website, as well as another one that reviews the different website builder packages. So you can go in and read about them and figure out which one you think is going to fit your needs the most. I pulled this table out of the first website because I like the way they laid things out. And so we're going to go over this a little bit, but again, this could be a whole hour class in and of itself, is going over all the different packages. But they break it down by what is the characteristic most representative of that particular package. For instance, Wix, they said, was the best overall. It has that, they call it an unlimited with ad free trial, but this is this ad supported option. So if you let Wix put ads on your website, there's no charge. If you don't want to go with that, you can go with their base price, which is $13 a month. Remember, their tiers. So you may need to bump up to the next package, just like we saw with Squarespace, but this is their base package. Squarespace, they said, had the best prepackaged designs, and prepackaged designs. Can you? I just saw that. Everybody, can you hear me? Okay. Was that Linda that was having trouble hearing me? Okay. Can you hear okay now? Okay. All right. Okay. So best prepackaged design. The prepackaged designs are the templates I was talking about. So basically, this reviewer thought that Squarespace had better templates than the others. They don't do the ad supported, but they do a 14-day free trial. 14 days is way more than enough time to test out and build a website and see if you like it. If you spend a few days and you decide you don't really like Squarespace, all that it's cost you is a little bit of time, and you've learned a lot about building websites. So it's really not lost time even at that. Weebly, they say, is the easiest to use. So if you think back to that easiest versus customization ability, they're on that far left side. And most reviews pick them as the easiest one to use. So if that's what's most important to you, Weebly may be where you want to start. They do have that free with ads option. All of them, until we get to these last couple, there's not really any substantial difference in the starting price. So that really isn't a factor. Now, most customizable is Doodah. So again, on that continuum, this is on the easiest side. This is on the most customizable side. They've got a 30-day trial, and pricing for their tiers is about the same. GoDaddy was listed as the best no frills option. And you may remember that GoDaddy was listed as one of the web hosting providers. So they do both. They do web hosting, and they also have a website builder package as well. But this one would be, way over on that left side of easy to use without very many options. And then WordPress is an interesting one. WordPress has been around for a long time. Probably close to half of the websites out there are built on WordPress. I think what's happened is that some of these newer companies have come out with ways to make it easier to build a website than WordPress had, which is why a lot of the businesses move toward these packages and they get rated higher. But it's still a very good, solid package. And they said it's really good for writers and bloggers. And it is the cheapest, and it also has that free option. These two, you probably don't have to worry about very much. These are for very large e-commerce sites, that have thousands of products and ship all over the world and running all sorts of specials. So these all work with e-commerce sites as well. So for pretty much any startup, these would serve your needs. If your business grows and grows and grows, you can always upgrade to one of these larger ones. And most of these packages do have a way to export the site to another vendor, especially to export all your products, which is the biggest thing in an e-commerce website, because it takes lots of time to build. If you've got 2,000 products, it takes a long time to build those products. You can export those products from Weebly into Shopify without having to rebuild them all from scratch. Questions about the different website builders, how they're compared?
So I have a question.
Okay.
Your discussion thus far, and it's been very good and very interesting, it really kind of is focused on a commercial website. What if you wanted to create a website that really wasn't commercial? You wanted to use it to host photography and articles on a topic. So you've done a study of the history of a particular geographic area. Is website really what I want, or is it more a blog that I want?
So you're just actually wanting to share the information you've gathered out there so other people can use it. You're not selling anything. You're not a nonprofit. It's just those are, would be classified as a personal website. And there used to be a lot of personal websites out there 20 years ago. A lot of those personal websites have moved to social media, Facebook, and places like that. But you can certainly do those, and that kind of falls under that personal professional website category. And if you're going to do that, you may want to go with one of the ones that is free, since you're not generating any revenue.
All right.
Because otherwise, you're going to have to fund it somehow. But and this one probably would be a pretty good one for that, because that kind of falls a little bit more in the writer bloggers. People that aren't selling things, they're not selling services. They're selling their books, but again, a little different. So WordPress might not be a bad choice for that.
Okay. Maybe so.
And and when we do the demo, which is coming up one more slide out, you'll kind of see how that might work for a personal website.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, Kat.
What is the benefit of either having for example, a Facebook page versus a website? If you're doing what Linda was just saying, like writing or sharing written information. I'm doing both, but I was just curious about that.
Well, one advantage of Facebook is that it's free. So that's, and it's easier to set up. You don't have as much flexibility in terms of how you're doing it. You're very restricted in terms of that ease of use versus customizable. You've got very little customizable ability. Now you can create a page on Facebook, which is different than a personal Facebook account, which gives you a little more options. That's what businesses usually have, is a page to promote their business. And it's not still up here, but so you can certainly do it with a Facebook page. But,
so there's not really a benefit between the two.
The website, again, you can just do a lot more with it. You basically can configure it to look any way you want it. Whereas with Facebook, you've got very limited ability to structure it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But Facebook is free, is the big benefit there. But you can,
and it reaches a huge audience also, right?
Yep, both of them can reach a huge audience, but of course there's lots of people on Facebook already. So now what we talked about, I think before you came on, is you can link from your website to your Facebook page.
To your Facebook, yeah.
And so you could have both and drive people back and forth, even if it's nonprofit.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't really have to pick one or the other, but if you, okay. All right, let's move on. I kind of want to make sure we have time for the demo when we are at the demo. Yes, let's go and do a quick demo. I think this will maybe clear up some of the questions. So I'm going to go to, we looked at Squarespace a few minutes ago. I'm going to go back to Squarespace again. So if you go to squarespace.com, for a limited time, take 20% off of a new website plan. So they're running a special here. But this is Squarespace, and it's just an example. I'm not saying it's the best or the worst, but it falls in that top 3 or 4 categories. First thing I'm going to go to is products, because I talked about domain names. That's one of the things you have to have. And so again, these all-in-ones all have a way to do the same thing. If you already have a domain name, you can just transfer it and use it at Squarespace. If you don't, you can find one and acquire it with the help of Squarespace. So I said I used to have a business called Eagle Springs Farm. So I'll just use that as an example. And what it does, it takes this business name, this organization name, and it goes to see what domain names are available. So eaglespringsfarm.com, which is what everybody would probably want, is not available. But they've got a whole lot more here that are available. eaglespringsfarm.net, which actually was the website I used when I had that business. I've shut it down several years ago, so it's back available for someone else to use. And that does cost $20 a year. Now, I mentioned earlier, you can get a subdomain with most of these packages where there's no charge for that, but you don't have your own unique name. But if you're not generating any revenue, that might be one of the things you want to look at as a subdomain. There's different costs, and I'm not sure how they decide what's $20 versus $50. This is nice and clean looking, eaglesprings.farm. But you could go with any of these other ones, and you can see there's lots of other ones. They range up to $70 a year to as low as $20 a year. So it's not a huge cost. $20 a year is not very expensive, but it is an expense. But you just would put it in the cart, and Squarespace will go out and register that for you. There is a central domain registry that handles all this, but instead of you having to go and do it yourself, they'll do it for you. So that's one of the services that the all-in-ones provide.
Wait, yes, may I ask a
Uh-huh.
question? Yeah,
Sure.
I think, was I correct when you scrolled down, there were some domain names that were more expensive than others?
Yes, they go up to.
What makes a domain name more expensive than another one?
I really don't know why, because I don't know that these are more, it may be that these are more sought after.
Okay,
I don't really have a good answer for that. They go anywhere from $20 to $70, and I'm not sure why,
right,
what causes
okay.
that.
Yeah, thank you. No, I was just thinking, what's the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of curious.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we talked about templates a good bit. The templates are really the heart of the website. And again, if you're used to using templates with Word or Excel or PowerPoint, you kind of understand the idea. So let's look at the templates. And what they do, and the other website builders do something similar, is I could just go down and start looking through the templates and find one that I like, but they sort of curate them for you and say, based on the type of organization, here's templates that work well as a portfolio or for a photographer or for an online store. And I think they actually have one for a personal website. I thought personal websites. So if you're going to do a personal website, you can pick here, and they actually have some templates that are designed to work well with a personal website, where you really just have something you want to say. You're not selling anything particularly. You're just wanting to tell your story or provide information. So I can show you the e-commerce part as well as the other part. I'm going to pick an online store for an example. So I can scroll through and look, and you can kind of tell, this one is selling produce, this one is selling plants. I could take any of these and sell anything, but you can kind of get a feel for the colors, the fonts, the basic layout of the different templates. You can pick one and look at it in more detail, preview it. And if you find one you like, then you can just pick it. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one just to kind of, again, show you the process. I'm gonna go ahead and say, let's start with Hester. And okay, so it's welcome to your site. And they walk you through just some information. The first thing you do is give it a title. And you can see I've done this one before in other classes. And I call it Wade's Store. But you can give it whatever you want. And it kind of just provides some information about how you need to build it. That's one thing. These are all very good. They've got lots of built-in information. You can skip through that, but you would probably want to read that in a little more detail. And it'll take me to the template where I can start configuring my website. So this is my home page. So I can edit it. And maybe I don't like Pickle Perfection. I probably wouldn't. Maybe I want to say homegrown organic produce. So you just start changing the text. You know, it's provided colors and fonts and those sorts of things. Maybe I don't want to focus on pickles. I don't like the pickles. I can click here to edit this section. Go to the background, delete that. There's a couple of ways I can get a different picture. I can upload something from my computer if I've got a picture I want to use, or I can go out and get stock pictures off the internet. I'm going to click this one to start with here. You've got an option to go with free images or premium images. I'm cheap. I'm going to go with the free. And let's say I'm just going to put produce. That's what I'm selling. So I want to see pictures of produce. These are all free stock images that I can use without being worried about someone suing me. Somebody say, oh, this looks kind of nice. It's nice, clean, and colorful. So I'm going to pick that one. I'll just say add that image. And I've now changed my background picture. And I've changed my title here on my home page. I can continue. I can go down and edit the sections, come down to the footer. And for each section, you just say edit. And then here I would change this to be Wade's Store. Put in my street address, my phone number. When I'm done, I can discard all my changes if I decide I don't like everything that I've done. I can do that, or if I like what I've got, I can save it. And obviously more work needs to be done on there, but I've got started on my home page. If I click here, these are my other pages. So there's an Our Story page. If you're exporting a website, probably the pictures wouldn't export over. That's something you'd have to check. There was a question in the chat. So we talked about Our Story pages before. I said that's one that we really like. So we're going to keep that one. It has a blog, and maybe I decide I don't really want a blog. So I can go here and delete that page if I want to delete that page. So I get rid of the blog. It doesn't have a contact us page, but I've got a way up here to add other pages that aren't in here. So I'll click here. There's a blog, a store, portfolio, events. I don't see contact, but they got a blank page. And you can start with a blank page and then actually use a empty page. And now let me edit and add a section. And when I look at the section, so there's different things I could put on this page. I could put an appointments page, donations if I'm a not-for-profit, etc. But I want to put a contact page in here. So I can pick from these different options which one I like the look of. I like just kind of a nice, clean, simple look. So I'm going to go with that one. It loads all that in for me. Again, it's giving me fonts that work with my website that are already there. Sizes, I just have to go in and change the email and phone number and street address. It's got a way here to do one of those in website inquiry pages where they can just put in their information, hit send, and it'll come to me in an email. So I can say, okay, that's a good start on that page. I'm done with that one. Save my changes. Is everybody kind of getting a feel for how this works? Let me go to the shop and show you how that works, and then we'll stop for some questions, because it works pretty much the same way, but with the shop, you need to add products, and I wanted to show you that if anybody's looking at an e-commerce website. So they're pre-populated with just samples. You would go in here and delete these out, but they've got some things in here to give you some ideas. I want to add a new product. Anytime you see a plus, it means add something. So I want to add something. It says, what are you selling? Is it something physical? Is it something digital that someone downloads? Songs, pictures, whatever, services. My case is something physical. I can add an image. I'm gonna go find an image before I pick the name. Let me see, I think I've got something down here. Yeah. So we'll go back to pickles. So there's a picture of some pickles. I can upload that. If I got more pictures, I can add additional pictures. So now I can add an additional description about them here. I can put in my pricing information. $2.87, but you can put them on sale, and it says it's on sale for $2.10. You can actually track inventory. You can tell how many of them you've got, and every time it sells one, it'll track your inventory, so you know when you need to buy more or make more, depending on where you're getting them. And when you're done, like before, I can save and publish. And now I've got my pickles out there on my website as something I can sell. Questions about how this works?
This is helpful. This is good.
Yeah. And so you just kind of keep going through that basic process. When you're done, you can go back to your pages, pick another page. We didn't work on the Our Story page. You can go into there, do the same thing. They've got it set up. I would just go in and edit this, take out this boilerplate text, and put in my information. Tell them your story, not their story.
I started a year ago. I have a Wix.
Uh-huh.
I started in Wix. It was very easy in the beginning, and then I think myself, it remains incomplete, but I'm going back to it because I have a better understanding now. Okay. But I got lost because I started moving. See how that box is that says our story? Uh-huh. So I started resizing the templates. I started doing all kind of things, and then I just got I just got overwhelmed and lost in the editing. And didn't go back I haven't gone back for months. So this is timely for me.
Okay, good. Yeah, and that's one of the good news, bad news things. It kind of gets back to that customization ability, because if you just kind of do what I've been doing and filling in things in, it's pretty simple. Now you can go in here and you can actually say, I want to change the formats. I want to change the alignment. I want to change the colors.
That's what I did.
So you can, which lets you really make it your own, but then it starts getting more complex. So,
and I totally got overwhelmed and lost. I couldn't figure out where I had, information.
You can actually go back and start all over again if you want to do that, or you can try and clean it up.
That's what I need to do, I think.
Yep.
So how do I do that? Just go.
In Wix, I'm not quite sure, but it would be similar here. You can go back And now it shows me on my dashboard, and you can see I've built this same store twice, once on
Yeah.
April. And, but I can go and just start a new one, just like I did before. For this class, I can create a new website,
Oh, okay, yeah, right there.
build a hook, and start again. It starts over where we started. Pick a new template, build it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Thank you.
So wait, what you just said about your, so if one has never done this, can one, you just showed where you had 2 examples of just of websites you built. So is it possible to build like 4, you could play around, build 4 and see which ones you like? Can you do that on one
Exactly.
account, one domain name on one account and not go live on any of them yet?
Yep, that's what I've done here. I've got 2 that I've built now. I
Mhm.
haven't gone live with any one of them. This is one of the ones that had a 14-day free trial.
Right,
I haven't paid them a nickel because I haven't published anything yet.
right,
So when you publish, that's when you actually have to pay them. And when you notice they didn't ask for a credit card, it's not one of those where you have to give them a credit card. And if you don't cancel within 14 days, they charge your card. At least with
Oh.
Squarespace, you don't pay them anything until you say, okay, I like it, let's publish it.
Do you know that whether that's true with WordPress? If I were to make it, as long as I don't go live, I don't have to pay, or?
I would think so. I don't know that for a fact. Those articles I'm sending you might tell you, or you could go to their website and probably
Right.
find it out.
Okay,
I would think most of them would be similar. They're
Yeah.
competitors of each other, so they kind of have to do the same sorts of things.
right.
And so that's
Maybe-
very nice. So I could try different templates and try 3 different templates and see which one I like best. And when I don't like, I can just go in and say, I don't like that one, delete that.
Right. That may be something Kat could do. If you, Kat, maybe you could just build a new one and see how it feels, like a woman trying on a new outfit.
You know
Yep.
what? Yeah, I didn't realize. It seems it's so simple with him explaining it, and
Right.
it didn't dawn on me not once to just start
Right.
all over and do another
Right.
one.
It's like, just try a whole different outfit,
Because there is a lot in the existing one that I like,
Right.
but like I said, I kind of got lost in it, and what I could do is create a new one.
Exactly.
And then at the point in which I got lost, now I can take another direction and kind of stay on track.
Oh, well, that brings it, like, is it like word processing? Can you, if Kat likes some parts of her current website, can she duplicate that website and then start working on a second version?
That's going to probably differ from vendor to vendor. I don't know a way to
Okay.
do that with Squarespace, but I'm not that intimate with any of these.
Right. Okay.
Good question.
If you had to just
Yeah.
start over from scratch.
Right.
You could probably convert it over to a new, you could change the template and keep the content possibly. I know I built a store with one of the other ones, and it let me do that. I changed the template, but it kept all the information I'd put in. So,
But your domain names are different, I'm noticing, right? So you have to create a new domain name.
they assigned that because you remember but this is one of those free ones, a subdomain.
Right.
If I wanted a real domain name that had mine, I would have to go in and buy that, or but this is just one they assign because you've got to have a domain name to build with. So this
But
is like
if I do it,
temporary one.
if I do a second one, then I go through the same process of a domain name. But I noticed that you have the same name. That's where I get a little confused. You said you have both are Wade Store.
But this is a domain name, crocodile-denim.squarespace.com. This is the
Okay.
domain name. This is just
Right.
the name of the
Your
store. So
okay.
this is what makes it unique.
Okay. Got it.
But wait, would you be able to build a second website with the same domain name just to see what it feels like? I guess.
No.
No, I
That's-
see.
That's what
I
I was
see.
asking.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. He had 2 different.
Oh,
Store
yes.
was the same, but he had 2 different
Right.
domain names. Yeah.
Right.
So
Got
these
it.
are totally separate.
Okay, yeah, I see,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so it's not necessary, just like changing your clothing. Okay.
All right. And I have run
Good
over here.
analogy,
We're going to
though.
have to close down. So I apologize, but it was a lot of good conversation there and I didn't want to cut it off short, but
Very helpful.
let me go to the closing here. So, this ends the official class, and I do want to thank you for attending. I hope you learned some things here that will make it easier for you to build a website. Let me go to the closing slides, especially for anyone that hasn't been through this before, in case you don't, well, what's going to happen after the class. So after the class, you'll get an email, and there's several sections to the email. There's some class notes, and this is where those links to those websites are that I mentioned, those website reviews where you can see Wix versus Squarespace and pros and cons. So you want to be sure you get that email and go look at those two websites. That'll answer probably a lot of the questions you have as well. There'll be links to 3 other classes, as well as a link to give feedback on the class. Only 2 questions here: rate the session itself and rate the guide that gave the session, 1 to 5 stars in each case. You can add comments and then done. So very quick to add feedback. And I do want to give you that email address again. So if you want to request a copy of the recording of the class, in case you want to see some of it again, you do see the slides as well as the audio. Send an email to help@getsetup.io, and be sure to include the name of the class and the date you attended, and they'll send you a link to the recording of the class. And the last link is view schedule, which will just take you to our website where you can book another class. So I have run over by 5 minutes. I'm sorry I ran over, but I certainly hope you enjoyed the class. I had a great time, and hope I see you again in another class really soon. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you, Wade. That was really helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now. Have a great evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.